All right, looks like YouTube is online too. Okay, looks like we're all good to go. Today I'm gonna be doing some writing on the Zettelkasten. I've been working with GitHub Actions recently, and it has been quite a good. I learned quite a lot, and I took a bunch of notes on this, and I let's see. This can go to the Zettelkasten. Yeah. Hey Rohan, how's it going, man? How are the studies progressing? Just 1 second, just have to make sure I don't dox any work-related stuff in these notes. Okay. Rowan is all good. Nice to hear it, man. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so I have a few notes that I have taken. Share the screen. So I've been working with GitHub Actions, and I took a few notes on this, and I wanted to basically show you how I turn these kinds of things in the to turn these kinds of notes into a blog post, and I wanted to show you what the process looks like. Yeah, it's always a risk. That's right. There's always personal notes that you are flaunting sometimes, and yeah, that's just how it is. It's living. That's how it is living a more public life like I do. If you're not careful, that is. So I have my blog here. This is a Hugo blog based on Markdown files, and I wanted to go through these notes that I did, and I just take them very quickly on the fly, and then they accumulate in my inbox here, and then these notes I sort of process and put them together, and then if I do that correctly, then there's very little writing I actually have to do in the end to turn it into a proper blog post. So let's see, this note is creating tags based on conventional commits with GitHub Action. So that was really nice. I was able to, I have this GitHub Actions here. Actually, I could, This I can close. This I can close. This I can close. Just cleaning up all of the tabs I have opened from today's work. All right, now we're getting somewhere. And then Docker. Let's see. Okay, and then here there should be here build Docker YAML. So here I have a GitHub Actions that I created, and in there is a step called prepare tag, and it checks out the repo, and then it takes the latest tag in the repo based on the git tags, and then it increases it. So it actually works quite nicely. Sophie Core, let me see. This is about to become public very soon. It's still a private repo, but it's some work that I'm doing for work on a Danish analytics agency. It's the Food Administration that does analytics, and they have a lot of public stuff out in the open. And here you create tags, and this GitHub action will take the latest tag, the last tag, and increment it by 1 every time I push something to main. But it's based on conventional commits. So when you include the feed commit in the commit, the feed word in the commit, then it will actually increase with a minor version here. So that's really nice. And that has been a bit of a process to figure all of that out. So I took notes on that, and I'm going to be processing them now. So this node, immediately I see I called it creating tags based on conventional commits, but actually this is about configuring permissions. And I know I also have a managing permissions through the GitHub container registry. I already have a note on that here. So maybe I should this is basically a new node that is called managing permissions for GitHub Actions to create packages. Because what my GitHub Actions does is that it takes a it takes the tags that are here, it takes the code, and then it builds the Docker files from that, and then it pushes them to the packages over here. Packages. That's what it does. It's a mono repo. It has all of the code in each of these. Each of these directories contains a Docker file, and then the pipeline builds those and publishes them to GitHub Actions. So that is that should be the title of the blog, or that's the idea I'm going for here. So this is about managing permissions for GitHub Actions to create packages. And actually I think the blog post will be GitHub Actions to create packages. So all of these are all about the permissions, so I can move those to this node. Oh, and let me open up screen keys here. Okay, so you see what I'm actually doing. I use Vim for everything, or at least I do Vim key bindings in Obsidian. When I'm switching around with a lot of files, I actually prefer to use Obsidian these days. let's see, managing permissions for GitHub Actions to create packages. Go to the package, and open settings. Let's see, you go to the packet. Yeah, go to your organization. On the main page of your GitHub user of your organization. Go to packages. Go to the package and open settings. Package settings. And open package in the right sidebar. Package settings, and then here you add the repo as a source. So manage the actions access. Under manage actions. Add the repo as a source. Okay. And then also add the actions access and allowed. Make sure to allow write access. And then here, in the source repo where the GitHub Actions workflow is running, go to settings, actions, and add write permissions there too. Select the workflow. Yep. So that's the note all about managing permissions. And let's see, I'll go to my index of my public Zettelkasten. Then there's here, I'm building multiple Docker images from a mono repo with GitHub Actions. That is actually the blog post, but this is one blog post I found, which I actually used, which was very useful, but this does not include the versioning. So there's two things here that I did. I did the automatic versioning, and there is the managing the permissions. Hey, see you later, Rohan. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, so my title is going to be building multiple Docker images using automatic versioning using GitHub Actions. Okay, so this is a source that I did. I wrote a note about using a matrix for looping over jobs. So here's a code snippet I could use for that. Don't have to include all of those, just need a couple of them. Here are some links for that one. So this will be so the thing with the Zettelkasten is that every node should be a self-contained unit. It should be ready for publication. That's what all of the refinement is about. So you write the node and with the intention that one day you can pick it out and just put it almost straight into your article. And now I know that I'm writing the article, so I'm a bit biased, but that's the whole idea. So this node is about using the matrix to loop over GitHub Actions jobs. So problem, one of the problems. Okay, so using the matrices, then we had managing permissions. Further, I took a note on creating tags. Is there a reason you chose this over Helm templating? Well, Helm templating is for the actual deployment of the containers to the cluster. So here I'm just building the images and I am pushing them to the GitHub container registry. I'm doing that from the source code, and you can't use Helm for that as far as I know. If you can, please let me know. But the requirement of my customer was to use GitHub Actions, so that's what I'm doing. I've never used GitHub Actions before, actually. I've been mostly working with Azure pipelines, But I found it was really easy to learn. Like it was literally, I didn't have to learn at all. I was just researching the actions and pasting them in, and it all worked really well. If you know Azure Pipelines, you know GitHub Actions. It's really easy. Okay, so creating tags based on conventional commits with GitHub Actions. So another problem another problem I had to solve was to increase the tags on every commit. This was a requirement from my project manager. Although yeah, I could actually so introduction is here, introduction. I've done a project where I'm working on a project where I migrating an Azure pipeline to GitHub Actions. So far, I've found GitHub Actions very intuitive to work with. It was a very easy. Okay. One requirement was to increase the version with every build. In the previous setup, they were using the build ID, but I'm an advocate of always using semantic versioning if possible. So I wondered if this could be done using the GitHub Actions. Okay, so here it is. Some creating tags based on conventional commits in GitHub Actions. That's the first problem that I solved. Then it was managing the permissions and using the matrix. The first problem I had to solve was to increase the tags on every commit. This is a requirement from my project manager. I don't have to include that here. Actually, I don't have to include that here in the Zettel. The Zettel should be a standalone node and does not need that contextual information. So creating tags based on conventional commits with GitHub Actions. I use the following action from the marketplace for increasing the versions based on conventional commits. include a code snippet. So here I'm outputting the tag. In the example below, I'm running a separate job to increase the version based on the latest tag of the repo. The job has an output which I can use later to tag the images themselves. So I check out the repo. Check out the master branch. Actually, I should. It was master. I should just use master then. And then the get next version step increments the version based on the configuration provided. I use the patch all true. I always struggle, like, is this a parameter? Is this a setting? I'll just call it setting to always default on a patch incrementation. If there are no, if the word feet is not in the commit. If the commit would contain breaking change, the major version would be incremented. Okay. And for my particular use case, I also needed to push the new version to the current repo. I used this action. So I included some links here. Oh yeah, this is actually very useful. Yeah, it's good that I see it now. This actually needs to be included in the permissions. Finally, we also need to add permissions in the workflow YAML. see also. Provide some links there. Okay. Since the somewhere action already adds a V to the tag, I adjusted the tag prefix to empty string. And that's now done. So I've written the notes on increasing the version based on commits, then how to push the tag. Then we talk about permissions and using the matrix. This actually can be published now too. So is there anything else in the... No, those are all the notes that I took for this particular for this particular topic. These were all the notes that I took. So this will be like in my public Zettelkasten, this is going to be the map of content. But now I'm actually ready to create the blog post out of this. And this I will do in Vim actually. No. So blog article file name will be actually it should be okay, so this is going to be the title of my blog post, building multiple Docker images using automatic versioning using GitHub Actions. So this command that I just ran was just a shell script that formats the document for me like this. I'm going to convert this to title case. And now it's just a matter of putting in all of the stuff I wrote and publish it. So this is the introduction. So introduction, I'm working on a project where I'm migrating an Azure pipeline to GitHub Actions. So far I found the GitHub Actions very intuitive to work with. It's very easy to use from Azure pipelines. Work went ahead was to increase. But I'm possible. So increasing versions. So copy this over to my node here. And this is where the magic happens. Like I've already prepared the notes. I just have to paste them in, and now I basically have the article already written. So pay attention. So I just have to glue them together. So the first problem I had to solve was to increase the tags on every commit. So I've done that. So then the next chapter was going to be managing the permissions. Managing permissions. Hey, Mikola, good to see you too. Hope you're doing well. Managing permissions. And this is going to be a little bit trickier because there are a few images in there, but bear with me. So these images, I have to, let me see. This image I will open in my default app, and then I'm gonna save that as oh god, why can't I? Where's the save as? Save. Oh, Mac, sometimes I hate you. Why can't I just do save as here? So I have to duplicate it. Fine. So I'll call it workflow the GHA1. Oops. But I want to move this image. So move to here. I move it to assets. Move. So assets. Okay, so the assets, it's called GHA1 PNG. So that's how I have to put it in here. It's actually exclamation mark like that. And then the next one is going to be called GHA2. Annoyingly, that is actually the first image that I had. So number 2 actually has to go here. And then the second one is the one we just did. Oh, it's only 2 images, so that's okay. Okay. So those are the 2 images. And then finally, we are going to add using matrix. Looping over multiple images. Okay. One of the problems I needed to solve was that I needed to build the last problem I needed to solve was that I needed to build multiple images, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to have code block for each. To make it a bit cleaner, I didn't want to have a code block for each. After some research, I found a way to loop our multiple well using GitHub Actions using matrices. Okay, so that should actually already be the article. So if I now do blog reset and then go to my local host 1313, I have a new version of the blog built, and this is the article. Let's check it out. I'm working on a project increasing versions. It's looking nice. Managing permissions. And finally, there is the last one. Look at that. That's a big blog post. And I did that through like refining the notes for myself. Like this is how I would write for myself too. But I just put them together and I have a very good looking blog post. And so then I should end it up. Conclusion, or this was a very fun challenge to solve, and I have learned to work. I've learned a lot about GitHub Actions. It didn't take much time at all to figure all of this out, because all of the actions in the marketplace are conveniently are open source, and you can just read the code to see if they suit your needs. So far, I'm very impressed with GitHub Actions coming from Azure pipelines. So can I share the full final result? Like, I'm almost certain that this is going to be a public repo in the next few days. So let's see, build Docker images, push. No, I don't need to include all of the code one more time because this is just all, it's just all the code already. Yeah. Okay, so the blog is done. Going to read it through for myself one more time, and then I tend to find some spelling mistakes, and then it's ready to post. Working on a project where I'm migrating. Yeah. Oh, I want to add something about in the introduction. This setup increments all of the Docker regardless if they have any changes. I did not like this way of deployment, but it was the requirement from the project, so I had to implement it that way. I would have preferred to version each Docker, each container image separately. Okay. And the nice thing that this is automatically updated in the preview. If I'm running the server, that is. I wasn't running, so blog reset. Here we go. Managing permissions. Okay. Ooh, that should definitely be right too. Nice catch. Right here. This also needs to be right. That's why I always read through the blog post before publishing. Okay, looping over multiple Docker images. That should have a capital. That should actually be called Docker files. Okay, the last problem I needed to solve was that I needed to build multiple images. Yep. Okay. Done. So now I can go to the live version of my website to show you. Like here, the post is not there yet, but now I will do blog pub and then add the commit message. Oh, wait. Let me just see the blog. I saw some changes here. Building multiple Docker images. What is this screenshot? Oh, I probably. No, I want to see what that is actually. So nothing found there. Okay, well, I'll just publish it. So I'll do blog pub and then I'll just call it GitHub Actions. I would like to tweet that. So yes. And then the tags are going to be GitHub, CI/CD, Semver, DevOps. So it's now being posted or pushed to the repo. Now it's waiting a bit for it to publish to Twitter. Ah, actually it didn't take the last one to Twitter. That's unfortunate. It wasn't done yet. Okay. Well, that's okay. Twitter. I can just do a double post. Yeah. It actually did not take the last one. Oh well. So now my blog post is live. Well, that took me. I'm streaming for 1 hour now, so that's like half an hour of that would be processing my notes anyway. So this is how I use my Zettelkasten to produce content from the notes that I take for myself anyway. So it has amounted to quite a large blog actually. It's like if you scroll through it, it's quite a collection of technical articles over the years. It's nice. It's a very nice sense of accomplishment when doing this. So let's check out the Skool community. There are some new messages here. Oh, cool. SRE interview. Recently had a recent. The role seems to be more focused on site reliability engineering. Anybody has experience in that? I love it. This is so nice of being a community leader that you get these discussions happening in your community, and I love these questions. I hope you get the job. So what is an SRE job? Like I read most of the site reliability engineering books from Google. I've read the site reliability from Google about halfway through. And in there and the definition was that it is an operations person that spends time It's an operations person who spends time writing code to improve the systems he is operating. In the book, they actually set a hard requirement that SRE should spend half their time coding to solve the toil they do in the other half of their time. At least that is how I remember it now. But I always thought it was an intriguing role. Definitely something I could see myself doing down the line. Oh. No, I don't want to leave. Okay. Okay, so I've been at it for an hour now. I'm just going to take a quick break and stretch my legs, and then I'm gonna do a bit more work on the Kubernetes Homelab. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, we are back and there are some questions. Ah, I recognize that profile picture. Hello there, my friend. My friend from Kiev. I was listening, so I was taking some notes. Oh. Planning to watch the Obsidian course, but maybe change my mind. Yeah, well, I'm sorry, you've missed the. I'm just finished the creating the article, so I suggest you after I'm done, like I'll be done in an hour or so. Then you can just rewatch the stream, and then you actually see the whole workflow that I just did. I showed you how I was like taking notes, and then poof, I turned them all into one article. And always thinking about that such activity take much time. It's yeah, it does take a lot of time, but well, you will see when you rewatch the stream that the taking the notes and formulating them correctly helps you to actually crystallize the thoughts in your head and to really enforce understanding. For me, I really my test for understanding is when I am able to explain it in writing in notes. So also when I was writing these things, you saw me thinking a few times like, what am I actually trying to say here? What was I actually doing here? And for me, that has been extremely useful in how I work, and it really is just like learning on steroids for me. It really is basically learning on speed running. So yes, it does take time, but you do get a lot of value out of it, if you ask me. What was the file manager that you used when you created and copied folders and files in Vim? I use Lazy Vim, and um, it slips my mind what the name of the plugin is, but we can figure it out if we go to config. Um, no, if I go to lazy and then file. Ooh, I haven't updated it for a long time. Let's see. Neo 3, I think that's it. Neo 3. Neo 3 and Vim. Yeah. Neo 3 is a NeoVim plugin to browse the file system and other tree-like structures. It's called Neo-3 NVim, and it's included in Lazy Vim. So that's how I got it. Let's do an update of Lazy because that hasn't been done for a while, I see. And that's how easy it is to update all of your plugins. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments on my workflow. Let's see. So next I wanted to do a little bit of home labbing. I recently managed to wreck my cluster, and I had to reinstall a few things. And one of the things that didn't, unfortunately, I lost the backups from was my Home Assistant. So I want to do that, and also I have a few PRs here to update. like this renovate that's running, and then it will submit PRs to update Docker tags. But here, for example, this renovate Docker tag, I just want that to update automatically. And I was looking in the Flux docs the other day. Flux documentation. And here they have automate image updates to Git. So that's actually where it went wrong the other day. I did Flux bootstrap GitHub, and I pointed it to an empty repo. So it cleaned all of the manifests from my cluster. So I had to redo it, but that's okay. And so the difference is here I have Flux. Here I have renovate running on my cluster every day or every hour. And then it will submit a PR here, where you can also have Flux do that. I didn't know that when I configured renovate. So now I just want to have Flux do this. And here, configure image scanning. Create an image repository to tell Flux which container registry to scan for new tags. So that would be renovate/renovate. Interval 5 minutes. Yeah, that's fine. And then export this. And then you do an image policy, which says which image it can update. Well, it could. I wanted to update all the time. So here it is saying you can put a patch minor and patch versions. But I want to also have it increase the major version. So can I do that? Maybe I should just call it latest, actually, in this case. Yeah. Renovate. Like here we have the tags. Yeah, in that case, I can just use the current configuration. Yeah. So renovate is currently set up with a cron job here. Ah, okay, that's how it's, yeah. So then I'll just change this to latest. And then, yeah. Yeah, okay. Feed change renovate to latest. And feed add personal dashboard to Grafana. Okay. So maybe let's go through all of the maintenance updates for my cluster and see if there are any other cool ones that I want to do. So the renovate one I'm going to close. Let's see, close, because that's just going to use the latest tag, so I don't have to do that PR anymore. Ah, cool, it even saw my own Zettelkasten tag update. That's funny. So the source controller, sure, that can be merged. Well, actually, like this might be a, where is this? This is in the GOTK components. Like all of these I can just have as an image policy too, but okay, I'm fine. I'll just do it like this. The EDB operator, oh, that received a minor version. Like one thing I like about the Renovate is that it actually includes the release notes and the links to it. Oh, it's so nice. Yeah. Enterprise DB is such a good stuff. I do that. Let's see. Thanks, I'll rewatch. Obsidian often named like a second brain, but is it really work when you reread it again and again when needed, or is it good to have memorizing influence and you don't do? Yeah, I I don't really reread my notes just for the sake of rereading. But what happens is that I might be working on something else, and then I'm linking notes, and then I discover notes I didn't know I had anymore. I forgot about them, and then you start forming like new connections, or you get new ideas. It works really well. So it definitely helps with understanding and memorization. I heard that memorization works good when you use the body, like stand and go for. Oh yeah, that's an interesting take. So you would do the learning in a standing position, like the you would always be standing when you're studying. That's interesting. I know that the monks in monasteries, in Christian monasteries, they used to have standing desks and lecterns. They would always be writing standing. They didn't have chairs. So there's definitely something to that. Oh, Traefik has had a major version upgrade. Interesting. LinkedIn has received 3 minor versions. Well, I trust LinkedIn, so that can be upgraded. Okay, so does Traefik have like an upgrade guide? Here, breaking changes. See, migrating guide from V2 to V3 and upgrading sections of this chart on CRDs. Okay. But I'm on V28. Let's see. V28. Initial support of traffic proxy. Okay, well that's going to be an interesting one. Like I kind of don't want to wreck my Ingress controller, but uh, console provider. Oh, there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Rancher V1 provider. Okay, but what is then the version 3 of Traefik introduced a number of breaking changes. Eh. I can always move back to the old version. So I don't see anything that I'm doing directly. So I'm feel pretty confident that I can just merge this. But before I do, just checking if all of the previous things went well. Looks like the enterprise DB is now restarting my clusters. Let's just wait a little bit and see if that all went well before I start messing with the Ingress controller. Good evening, Mr. M. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. I am about to wreck my cluster by updating my Ingress controller. So you tuned in at the right moment. So yeah, let's merge it. Oh yeah, I do want to see the Helm. Let's see, Traefik Helm. Traefik Helm chart. Here we go. I do want to see the CR if I need to do some CRDs. Upgrading CRDs. Here we go. Ah, see, I'm glad I searched this up. Upgrade from 27x to 28x. Then you apply the CRDs. So that's what I'll do. And then so you apply all of the CRDs. Let me just check. Yes, I am in the right cluster. I'm not in a work cluster. I always do that before I apply things by hand. I always run the cur command, which is a script that prints out the current namespace and all of that. So let's apply the CRDs. Those are all applied now. And then I can merge the PR. Let's see, Homelab here. Update Helm release Traefik to V28. Merge. And then that should start reconciling fairly soon. And that will also mean that this PR will be auto-closed afterwards. So there are a couple of more updates to do. Loki went to version 6. Wow, that went fast. Oh, I just have neglected it the last time I looked at it. So this has been around for quite a while. So let's check out if Loki also needs some new CRDs when upgrading. Loki Helm. Grafana Helm charts, and then we go to Loki. Here we go. Doesn't say anything about upgrade guides, so Loki should be fine to just merge as well. But before we merge it, let's see how my Traefik Ingress controller is going. Let's see. Oh, that hasn't merged yet. My customizations are all well. I would expect that get pods grep Traefik. I would expect that it would restart some pod or other. Yeah, there's this one Traefik pod here. Well, I'm just gonna merge Loki too. Merge. So just to verify. Yeah, the release.yaml is now on 28, so it should pull it in. Oh, the interval is 30 minutes. So can I Flux reconcile Helm release? Yeah, so Flux reconcile Helm release. Yeah, so now the Helm release is reconciling. Why isn't that reconciling then? And why is that on 26? Because the PR was from 27.0 to 27.0. That's weird. Oh, is that's the base one? Production cluster. I hear Traefik. Ah, that's why. Okay. So this one is still on version 26, apparently. Why is that not being picked up by Renovate, though? So my base is on 28 now. And my production cluster is on 26. Interesting. So then I'm going to go back to Traefik. Here. Traefik Helm chart. Actually, I've now updated the latest upgrade up to 27. So maybe I should just do these Helm charts, these CRDs, and then apply them after 27 was done. So apply these CRDs, and then I'm gonna update the production release to 27. Feeds update Traefik to 27. Push that. So now we should start seeing some action. Um, and again, it's staying on 26. Okay, so now the monitoring is reconciling. And now the Traefik pod has an age of 20 seconds, so now Traefik is running. Okay, let's try see if my Ingress still works. Yes, I can enter grafana.mishavandenberg.net and it works. So we have successfully upgraded to version 27, and I should see that here in well, it probably doesn't show the Helm release in the description here. So 27, can I find that anywhere? Oh, here. Chart is Traefik 27.0. So confirmed that I'm running 27. Now I'm a bit curious about that Flux get Helm releases. Yeah, now it shows up as 27. Okay. So now we can go to the code and find the Traefik release. First, I'll update the CRDs to 28. Okay. Apply these. And now the latest version, I thought it was 28.0, but let's just double check. Yeah, 28.0, 9 hours ago. Wow. So I'm actually doing a Traefik upgrade on the day it was released. Like, that is some clean Homelab management, if you ask me. If you're that dedicated to keeping everything up to date. Feed. Upgrade Traefik to 28. Push. And let's do a watch Flux get customizations. It's already at work. Okay, it has been applied. So if I now open K9s again, yes, Traefik is 38 seconds old, version 28. And let's see if my Ingress is still actually working. Yay, Grafana is still working. What is another domain I could do? The home. Yep, Ingress is still working just fine. That was fun. All right. Any more things to upgrade? My Azure Key Vault provider had a minor patch. That's cool. Let's merge that. If you want to rebase, retry this PR. I think this will auto close. And then there's just Mealy that went to version 1.5. So I can just merge that too. And this is my own Zettelkasten Docker tag that was updated. And I don't even remember what I changed in that tag. So I should actually, before I wreck my own application, I have to check what I actually did. I was testing out adding tags for work, and I was working on the GitHub Actions pipelines that I was showing earlier. And yeah, adjust permissions. So I was just messing around with the different things. So what did I commit? Yeah, this is all in the actions. This was in the actions. Bumping a version. Okay. So I did start running it as a non-root user. So this will actually be a fun test to see if that worked. So yeah, I'm going to merge it and let's see what happens. Merge. And I just love this workflow, this way of working where you have your configuration in a repo as code, and then you have a bot checking for new versions, and all you have to do is just go through the pull requests, and it is just so amazing. And like I was looking into just now with the Flux releases, you can also just have it auto merge all the time. but I kind of like to know what's going on. So, but yeah, I think this is such a fantastic way of deployment and managing everything. It's just amazing. These branches I can all delete. So did I close this? What did I? Oh yeah, I changed that to latest. That's what I did. So that what I can close. Close, delete, delete, delete. I forgot to delete them when I merged them. So let's check out the Zettelkasten tracker now. Okay. It's running. So then I will do a ZK count. Ah, so it worked. And what this does, it goes to my I have this script called ZK count. And this goes into my Zettelkasten, and then it will get the amount, the number of markdown nodes that are in my Zettelkasten, and then it curls them to an API that I created myself. Very simple, very simple little Go program, and then the API puts the count into a database. And then in Grafana, I can read the database. So here is my, if I go for the last 30 days, here you see the progression of my Zettelkasten nodes. So let me zoom in a bit. Here you see over the last 30 days, I went from 2039 to 2239. I went to 2414. So in a span of 30 days, I've added 100 nodes. And that is interesting information to me. I like to see it grow like this. Oh, this is, I don't know. I like graphs that point up, except for my weight graph. I don't want that to go up. One simple stupid question. There are no stupid questions, my friend. We can have one ingress in cluster that rules all, or can have ingress unlimited like services. Yes, so for an ingress, there is two different things. There is the ingress controller, and there's the ingress resource. So if I go to my, let's say the Grafana ingress. So k-get ingress namespace monitoring Grafana, and I output that to YAML and pipe that to Vim. Oh, here. This is the ingress resource that is the Grafana ingress in my cluster. So here you see that I have an ingress class name to Traefik. So that means it's pointing to the Traefik ingress controller. And here you just say the rules for that ingress resource. And here's where you say, okay, you have to listen to this URL. And when you get a request on that URL, like for me, the path is /, so it just takes everything. You could also have /hello. Then if I would enter this and then /hello, then it would route to there. But I just have it like this. So everything, all the requests here go to this particular backend service. And that's how it works. So yes, you can have one Ingress resource and you can have multiple hosts here. You can see this is just an array. So you can have as many hosts here as you like this. The Ingress is a namespaced resource. So I am not sure if you can route traffic to different namespaces. You probably can, but I like to keep it namespaced. So every namespace has its own application with its own Ingress resource, and in there it will point to the backend. So that's what I recommend you do. All right, so that's for all of the upgrades. I have about half an hour left before I start my wind down for bed. So the controller is like a daemon, and the Ingress resource is like configs for this daemon. Yeah, you could say it like that. That's one way of conceptualizing it. The Traefik Ingress controller is just this controller that lives in the cluster and that is listening to your configuration, like your Ingress resources. So yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So having the Traefik Ingress controller allows you to have the Ingress resource in your cluster. Okay, so before I go to prepare for bed, I am going to quickly see how quickly I can get Home Assistant back up and running, because I lost all of my configuration for that, and that sucks. But yeah, then I should have been more careful. Home Assistant. So yeah, here this is the first thing I opened. This is my Home Assistant Ingress resource. I have it nicely namespaced to Home Assistant. And I chose the domain as.michaelannenberg.net for my Home Assistant. And let's see. Home Assistant might not be. Yeah, I commented it out. So I will just re-enable it, and then the storage. I actually want this as a Samba share. I want to be able to configure the files and back them up easily. So I have a storage class called SMB. And what, I'm not using that on anything else? Wait, what? Yeah, yes, I do. Okay. Yeah, I'm using it in some different things. Okay, so SMB retain. SMB Synology SMB retain. Yes, so now it will provide a Samba share of 1 gigabyte on my Synology NAS. And 1 gigabyte is, of course, way too much, but it is the minimum I can do with this particular storage provider. So, cool hat. Hey, thank you very much, man. Okay, so I'm re-enabling Home Assistant. Oh, I should definitely pull first, because I've been merging so much. Git pull. Okay. Feed. They work. Redeploy Home Assistant. And let's push it. but now it should start reconciling, and then Home Assistant should just magically appear. What do you think of the WSL mains out there? what What do you mean with the mains? Like the mains, like the context I have for that is RuneScape main characters. So you would have the main character where you make sort of mistakes, and that would be the generic guy. Is that what you mean with main? WSL enjoyers. Well, I I don't like WSL, so I'm really happy that you were able to enjoy it. Um, if when I'm forced to work on a Windows system, I definitely enjoy WSL too. At least it is a form of Linux on Windows. Even though I still prefer to use a Linux container or maybe a dev container or something. But yeah, if my employer forced me to work on Windows, then I would work on WSL. Um, it's just a nightmare to get your files correctly somehow. Like getting a Git repo to sync properly. Like I was trying to run Obsidian, and having it sync with Obsidian Git, that was just a nightmare. WSL disable systemd. Oh Lord. Okay. Yeah, I really don't like the WSL. But then again, yeah, systemd. Like you're not actually running a Linux system, right? You just have a Linux interface kind of to your Windows machine. So I could see why systemd is disabled, but it is indeed very strange. Hey, why is Mealy not coming up? Oh, it's attached to a different persistent volume. Let's see, Mealy. Yeah, I can just kill the old one. That's no problem. Alright. Okay, Home Assistant has come online. So let's see. Unable to connect to Home Assistant. Wait, what? What is that about? Unable to connect. Um, let's see. Production, Home Assistant. I didn't pass any configuration to it then. Oh, maybe it's because I am mounting a empty file to config. Let's see, Home Assistant Docker. How did I do that again? Here. Yeah. To ensure the Home Assistant displays the correct time zone. Yeah. It should just work then. Like, why is it saying could not connect to Home Assistant? That is very strange. Unable to connect to Home Assistant. That's a very strange error. I'm a noob learning DevOps stuff. Linux is nice, but I feel like it limits you on some program choices, or sometimes make you spend a bit more time get some outcome. It's mostly gaming stuff. Yeah, gaming is like if you want to game, then don't do Linux. Like I've been messing around with that too, and I got Steam to run, and then there is this what is it, Proton DB or something where you have where they port games to Linux. If you need gaming, just stick with Windows. I totally agree. Don't waste your time on that. Um, I'm intrigued by this Home Assistant error, though. It's almost as if it is reading some old configuration somehow. Let's restart the pod. Okay, so I'm getting it's throwing errors because the database is locked. Okay. So it is a permissions thing. So then I will go out and do a shell. Let's check out the /config. No, the config is owned by root actually. But, okay. Yeah, so I need to have 755 permission probably. Yeah. So chmod 755 config. Let's do that recursively. No, it's already 7. Well, let's do it 775. It's not changing it. I'm already root. Chmod 755 config. I don't remember what this problem was. What do you mean by Homelab? This is my Kubernetes cluster at home, and here I run applications, and I use that for to have fun, but also to learn Kubernetes and how to very often when I try things for work, I will do it on my Homelab first. So it's just a Kubernetes cluster running in my closet on a few machines. I have LazyVim and Mason in NeoVim, but I want to add language support for Go, React, TypeScript. I don't It might work if you install in Mason, but you have to do it in LSP config. That's where you have to edit. And check out my dot files. You can see it there. Hello, Saga. Nice to meet you. I don't remember having this problem when I deployed Home Assistant for the first time. Because I had it running for a long time before this. And let's see, PVC Home Assistant. So it has a... okay, so maybe it's because yeah, here we go. RWO, there's a different access mode to it. So there must be something wrong there. Let's see, storage. Read write once, maybe that should be read write many. And it's probably going to complain about that, so I'll just redeploy the entire thing. So first I uncomment it, then it's going to remove Home Assistant from my cluster, and then it's going to, when I re-enable it, it's going to redeploy it. I've been debating if I should go to Kickstart and learn the hard way first before Lazy Vim. Well, Kickstart is not the hard way, man. Kickstart is still a Kickstart. It still is a... Kickstart is still a very nice starting config. Like the hard way is to, well, first to start with Vim and not have any vimrc. That's how I started. I just had plain Vim, old Vim, not NeoVim, just Vim. No vimrc, and just build up your own vimrc. And then also in NeoVim, I went without any configuration and just built it up slowly myself. And then I spent too many weekends trying to get LSP to work. And then I moved on to Kickstart first. I used that for a couple of weeks and months, and then someone recommended Lazy Vim. And since then, I have never considered going away from Lazy Vim. But that's because those months of using Vim and NeoVim, years of using Vim and NeoVim, like vanilla with my own configuration, have given me a fairly deep understanding of how Vim works and how I can solve problems. So yeah, I'm really glad I went that way. That is the hard way. And yeah, you might miss out if you don't do it that way. So if you're gonna go that way, I recommend going just hardcore Vim and start from there. Okay, so Home Assistant is gone. Let's see. Redeploy Home Assistant. Like, you kind of want to use NeoVim from the start. Well, yeah, there are some very strong opinions out there out there. I know many people do. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will tell you that you're going to miss out a lot on the power of Vim and what it means to edit with Vim and to be able to construct your own workflows based on shell scripts, integrating that with Vim. Yeah, it is something you're missing out on a lot. And RWX Rob always recommends learning Vim first, and then when you fully understand it, then move on to NeoVim. And I share that opinion. Okay, so Home Assistant has been redeployed. Let's see. The database at /config is still corrupt. Okay. But look, it is adding a slash there. What is that all about? /config Home Assistant. That can't be right. But I have literally, I didn't change anything to the configuration when redeploying. cdconfig touch hello. Okay, so I'm able to write files. It is a completely new VI configuration. Yeah, it's a completely new thing. It has a new configuration file, so it's able to write files there. It's, for some reason, it is instantly throwing a corrupt database. Huh. Yeah, it is saying something about an invalid escape sequence, but like I literally, all I do, like I don't pass any environment variables. I just tell it to mount a persistent volume at /config. There is no config map. It's just a pure base, just storage and a deployment file. Wow, that's very strange. Okay, so Home Assistant dbv2 corrupt. Let's see. You can safely delete that. That's a very old topic too. Okay, well, maybe I should just delete the database. Let's see. Yeah, these files are all empty, so it's not some sort of old thing that it has loaded. So I will just remove rm f home assistant v2 db. Okay, so that is removed, and then I will restart the pod. See what it does now. Oh, database is locked. This is a very old topic though. 2017. Well, very strange. I didn't have this error the first time around when I deployed Home Assistant. It just worked like a charm. Well, maybe I have to go to an older version. That's the last thing I'm gonna try. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to end this. I'm gonna stream the end the stream in a few minutes anyway. But I do want to try to just Home Assistant Docker to go to an older database. Docker Hub. So let's see, what is an older version? Actually, let's check out the history in my Homelab repo. Apps, base, Home Assistant, deployment. This is also the great thing about GitOps, that you have the history. So apparently I changed the tag a while ago. So I was having this tag when I deployed it initially. So that was just February 2. So again, I'm going to just delete the entire thing. Push that. Microsoft Edge is really nice. I use it even on Arch. Yeah, I agree. Edge is the one that I have used for the longest time now. I really like the browser too, especially because of the Microsoft Authenticator app. It works really well for syncing passwords and your what's it called? MFA keys. So K8s. Looks like Home Assistant is now gone. Okay, so there are still a couple of persistent volumes here, so that's also something. I'm gonna delete these persistent volumes. So that also means that maybe it wasn't completely clean when I just redeployed. Let's just double check the storage on the NAS to just check that they have been actually deleted. SAN manager. Okay, no weird logs. So gonna try one more time to redeploy Home Assistant. And if it doesn't work now, then I don't know, I'll have to figure out something else. Hello, are we reconciling? I pushed it, right? Yeah, here we go. Here comes the pod. Check out the logs. Nope, still have this corrupt database. Database is locked. This is really strange. Okay, so it starts Home Assistant, and then it gets the error database is locked. Oh. Well, I'll have to figure out a way how to fix this later. But now I'm going to start winding down for bed. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Had a good time. It was nice to get all the questions. And stay safe out there. Hope to see you soon. Have a good evening. Bye bye.